started. Hey, it's working. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday book celebration. This is a dual book, or actually, it's kind of a triplet celebration with
That's all
poet.
my books.
Let's do them all. John Compton. And I just want to thank y'all for being here. I'm going to turn it straight over to you, John. I'm going to read a brief bio, the briefest of bios. John Compton is a gay poet who is the author of, now it's more than 20 books and chapbooks. What is it, 23, 22? I
Oh,
don't even
no,
know.
it is 20 because
Okay.
I put in the
Who lives,
future,
well,
like the forthcoming also includes
okay,
into it.
that's what I was going to
Well,
say.
no, it
Did
would
you
be
include the
21. It
forthcoming?
would be, it, no, it would be 21 now. I haven't included the one
Okay,
for February yet. Too many.
awesome. Lives in Kentucky with his husband Josh and their dogs and cats and mouse and brief mice and briefly a snake. And so I'm just going to turn it over to you. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, and I'm glad to be here. And I love reading here. It's like my third time or something. And sorry I missed a lot in between. Um, I'm very my brain's mushy and I'm very forgetful, but I love you and I love everyone here. And yeah, I have over 30 mice now, by the way. I have an 8 by 4 by 2 foot aquarium. It takes like my whole bedroom up. But they're so fun to watch. They're very smart. They're lovely. I, I'm gonna see. I told you. I'm gonna read a poem or so from How We Liberated What Secrets We Modified. So I wrote this during COVID, and there's the painting by I forget who it's by, but it's the people with two like bags over their head. It's an old painting. It's super famous, and they have the white bags over their head, and they're real close. Well, with that, and he got the inspiration too, because his mom went missing when he was a child, and he found her, and she had drowned in the river, and her dress was up over her head. So I went with that, and with COVID and how 6 feet apart, and I wrote this poem. It's called "Loving Becomes an Extinction." It is complicated. Are statues of flesh still living in a memory where yesteryear humanity became obsolete? A plague form touch into extinction, intimacy into death. We regress into routine, the loneliness non-existent if we secretly wear safety cloth bags and held breath and just the faintest kiss, quick, then step back. We live in the shadows of a dying kind, of homebodies and fear of leaving with distance, with pauses before footsteps and knowing touch becomes two funerals, multiple griefs, embers and ash and bones, teeth, quiet in the warmth of the crematorium, dead, no longer buried, the ground too full of rotting carcass. Mass graves have become landmarks, smoke from burning flesh, our prayers, our stories, our reminders, even inside our walls, we die. And that's that poem. And also, thank you. I was reading it. I should have read it a little slower, but if you can see, it has line breaks somewhere. Line breaks, and I put little like line breaks in there so it would force you to pause because the poem is about being cautious and focusing. And so I figured if I put in line breaks, it would make people slow down. So that's what I was trying to do with that poem. Um, and then this next poem is called My Sleep Deprived Morning Poem. And I've been awake for like 24 to 36 hours, and this poem came to me. And so I wrote it. Tiring, my mind adjusts to night, a yawn and then an elongated blink. Please surrender your eyes, sleep said, unearthing a perimeter. his propaganda to inhabit nightmares and non-consensual terror wrapped as a gift and laid on the doorstep of my mouth. But I know better. I first drink the blood of the holy man, then retreat into the pages of his prayer or spell. Sometimes these things begin to blur, and chanting becomes a song, becomes the beginning of a descent. And that's that poem. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I read two more out of this. And my mice are like little kids. They like to beat each other up, and I have to bang on the side to straighten them out. Calm down, y'all. Um, so I read two more from this, and then I'll go to my other books. But like I said, this is like one of my favorite chapbooks that you can still buy. It's not sold out. And I don't think it ever will be because he said no. My publisher was like no, and I was like fine. This one I wrote about my mother. My mother's always dying. She has 101 issues with her. And so when one goes away, another comes, and some have just stayed. And so I've been expecting my mom to die for the last 25 years. She's still kicking. So this one is called Sending the Kidneys a Subpoena. She has stage 4 cirrhosis. But she's had stage 4 cirrhosis for like 11 years. So it's just nothing kills that lady. And I mean, she's broke her back twice. She's had cancer 4 times. Her lungs are turning to stone. She's still here. She's almost 60 now. Um, all right, here's the poem. Mother is trying to figure out this death thing, so the preparations aren't as hard. She studies her body like an encyclopedia to understand how it comes in and unlocks each symptom to signal the shutdown. And that's that poem. I'm gonna read this poem. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna read this poem because I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite poems, and I tried something different. So the lines like are different but the same, and there's three different like things. But yeah, it's that. It's called "Not Like Rice Paper, Like Shrapnel," and I took the title for the little italic thing I put under it is called "She Was Not Fragile Like a Flower, She Was Fragile Like a Bomb," and that's by Rule Singe or something like that because I probably butchered their name. The axe head's weight tugs at the handle. Your firm grip loosens off his shoulders, letting breath exit from a balloon's neck. A quick rush, and the wood splits in two halves, which can no longer secure him to your chest. Distance becomes an orbit while air fluctuates. Thoughts spittle like two birds falling. The splinters, wet with sap, the bond, a proposal rescinding and drifting. Our vows now two fractions. An inhale incubates eggshells and infringement. And that's that poem. So I know every third line, so like the first line and then the fourth line and so on, you can read as one. The second line and the fifth line and so on, you can read all together. And the third line and the sixth line, and so you can read all together. That's what I meant to say in the beginning with my gibberish. All right, so I'm gonna read this poem, or not this poem, this book now. Oh, I want to say something real fast, not poem related, but not about me. I was very excited. So I bought a Diane Warsicki. I butcher her name, but she's like a really awesome poet. And I bought this book, right? And it was like $10. And I used thrift store because the more books you buy, the more free books you get. It's amazing. Anyhow, I get it, right? And so I open it and it looks like this bookmark. And I open it and it's a handwritten letter that she wrote to someone. And it's really, really cool and it has their signature. And then the book's also signed. And then I looked up and her handwritten letters are worth like hundreds of dollars. Not that I'll ever sell it, but that is a good find. That was like made my whole day because I like her poetry anyhow. And she's still alive. She's 88. But I just want to say that. So this book So this chapbook came out Etch Press in 2023. Kevin Dublin is the publisher. Wonderful. This book came out through Flowersong Press in December 2024, and Edward is the publisher, and he's wonderful because he put up with my crazy shit because I can get crazy. And one time he was just like, "Be quiet," because I was stressed then. I didn't sell as many books as I thought I should have sold, and I was like, "I'm so sorry." And he's like, "Be quiet." He's like, "Let me tell you a story," and it really helped. Because I wasn't so. I mean, I was still a little stressed, but I wasn't as bad because he was really cool with it. So anyhow, I read a few poems from this. This one is. Let me get a drink. This one is called "I Mowed Your Facial Hair," and the title runs into the poem. I mowed your facial hair, aligned the edges of your cheekbones. I filled mulch inside your mouth, planted my garden. We lie awake. The stars are blonde eyes watching us, and the first seed buds. And as a family, we memorize its first leaf, its first petal, its first bloom, and we name her Lily. And that's that poem. Thank you. Um, and this poem is not as lovely. It's called "I Tattoo Miss You Sleeping" across each eyelid, fingering tiny sweat beads to the side. They sit there and touch your body like the little whores you fuck with. Please realize you'll understand my absence loves you when I attach sex to your lips like burnt matches. And that's that poem. And also, I don't mean nothing bad for sex workers. My whores in my poem are those people who sleep with your man even though they know they're taken. Now, if your man's cheating and the person doesn't know, then it's not their fault. But when the other person also knows, it's both their fault, and they should be run over by a car. Um, I'm country. All right. So here's a a poem. So what's his face wrote, has um the to a young poet, and it's famous and whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna write a little poem to a young poet. But my young poet isn't necessarily the 18-year-old poet. It's to new poets, whatever age they are, the new poets. Let your poems be fingertips that maneuver from their eyes to their mouth and sit on their lips. Make them recite poetry they could never fathom. And that's that poem. What time? What time? All right. So let's see. All right. Da, 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 da. This poem. Oh, let me tell you too. Yesterday, I don't know when my ticks come on. And I've had them for like 2 or 3 months, and they keep getting worse. Yesterday, though, they were rapid, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try to control them. That was a horrible idea because for like 10 minutes after that, I was in, my whole body was going. And so I'm like, well, I'm just going to let them do whatever they want to do. But yeah, I learned not to, but not that I can anyhow because I don't know when, but they were like in motion, and so I was trying, and oh, it messed my whole body up. My whole body was flailing like a fish out of water. So learn my lesson. You live, you learn. But also I joke about it because if I have no control of it, so I might as well laugh than be sad. I also it all stems from my I almost said paranoia, peripheral neuropathy, which I have like a lot of symptoms. I walk with a cane now and everything. But I call my symptoms gifts because I can't control them. So they're my little gifts. So that's how I make them better. Instead of going, oh, I got a new symptom, I go, oh, I got a new gift. I got a new gift this month. How happy. So this one is called "We Seated Him Holy." You'll find him in a chair sequenced, gay as vandalism. We used white rags and smoke to purify him, to bleach the sin, to poach the black resin from the heart skin, to bring him right by rule of man. His arms and ankles tied crosswise, the naked body a rosary bead tucked in each wound. And that's that poem. All right, so thank you. I'm going to go to my new book now because I've read from those throughout the years. And now I get to read from this new one, which came out in March of this year. And the really one, thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone. Which, happy Pride Month. Which is really cool because it came out in March. So March, April, and May, I was a bestseller at my press. My book was, but not only the best poetry book, it was the best book, period, out of all the books, fiction and short stories and whatever. And then last month it fell from the list, and so I've been promoting hard because it's very addictive when you're bestseller. You want that, but but it's my thing was like it's Pride Month and I'm gay, so I'm gonna promote really crazy. So what I did was I schedule posted my book posts every day this month, so I don't even got to worry about it. It's automatic. Um, but if I don't, it's okay. Like I said, that's one reason I'm not doing full lengths anymore because stupid stuff like, oh my God, I want to be number one again. But oh, also, this book has been nominated for the National Book Award, the Eric Hoffman Award, and it's going to be nominated for the Triangle Awards. But the nominations don't open until like the end of the year, and my publisher done said he'll nominate it there. So it's really cool. And I started crying when I was nominated for the National Book Award because one, the nomination fee is like $135, and that's a lot of money. Um, and I get so September the long list comes out, and then next year the other lists come out. But it would be really, really. I mean, I'm honored I'm nominated, but let me tell you, if I get on that long list to the National Book Award, and people are like, "Oh, it's you're gonna win it, you're gonna win it." I'm probably not gonna win it. It would be super cool, but like if I got on the long list, because I think this book is really good, and I don't say that about a lot of my books because we're poets, and once we're done with them, we're so sick of those things, get it out of my face, or at least I am. But I really love this book, and I think it's really, really good, and I think my next one's really, really good. So, and I think I could possibly, if got be on the long list, if it's fair, because you know how some of them places be. But y'all could hear me scream if I get on the long list from your houses. It'd be like a hurricane force winds coming out my mouth of the screen. Let me tell you. And I'll cry. But that's the go. So cross our fingers. But I'm gonna read some poems. Maybe if I quit talking, I'm gonna read this poem. It's really sad. Um, I had a friend. I have a trans friend who inspired this poem. Um, it's called. Is this? Sorry, the poem's not funny. I just won't quit moving. It's called transphobia. You were raped, yet too young to come. They stuck objects inside you to remind you you were girl and not boy like them. You tore and bled, and parts of you matted to the ground in a puddle of unforgiving screams. And all you saw were toothed smiles and wolves crawling from their mouths. Their fingers were vultures, tearing at the wound between your legs you'd killed and buried alongside your dead name. They left you in a field of funeral arrangements and ladybug beetles, in a field of snail slime and snake skins, in a field where trees listened as if they understood. And that's that poem. And I submitted this poem to so many magazines and no one would touch it. No one would accept it. And I was just like, take a chance, people. It's a good poem. Um, I think it's good. And people who's read it thought it was good. And I meant that poem with lots of love. And this poem is called Between Sheets. Your hospital bed took you into its arms and taught you about caskets. And that's that poem. So in this book, thank you. Next month I'll be married for 7 years to my wonderful husband who I love so much. But he got mental health issues. And I have health issues, but I'm, the old mental health issues. I've had them for a long time. I know how, I don't, I mean, you deal with them the best you can, and you're like, okay, but he was new and he couldn't control them and he didn't have medicine for a while and I wanted to kill him every day. So instead of killing him, I wrote hate poems to my husband because that's what you got to do sometimes. You just got to write hate poems to the person you love. And now I said all that, and okay, I was like, now I can't find the poems. So I'm gonna read one or two from that. So that I'm a broken CD. I'll read two, and then I want to read one more. I think I have enough time to read three poems. Um, this one's called "And Thank You for Taking Care of This." An object orbits me, having ricocheted into my body, but my gravitational force wasn't strong enough. I observe it like a moon, visibility hindered by the time of day, yet nothing reflects from its face. It goes dark, grows darker. Gradually, this entity drifts further until the rotation passes too far away, a distance no technology can navigate. And that's that poem. Thank you. And then this next one, let's see. Oh, here, I'll read this one. It's called Obituary is Not the Centerfold. When you asked of after my death, my husband will stand silent, not knowing the life I led. A lone barbarian, locked in the bedroom, writing poems obscured by personal haunts. He will smile seamlessly, but hide his eyes and hopes people will forget the man whose existence were merely words, trying to simply expel the captive inside him, a madman, a journey. And that's that poem. Like I said, I love my husband. We're gonna go pet kangaroos on our anniversary. Because we're 12. But you know what's sad? We live like 5 miles away from Kentucky down under, and I've lived within a 30-mile radius all my life, and I've never been. And so now we have money, and we're gonna go play with the kangaroos. And it's gonna be exciting. And someone just messaged me. Sorry. How soon do I'm messaging soon, it's not important. So this one is it was published in the magazine anthology thing from Brian Borland, who is the publisher of Sibling Rivalry Press, and it was really, really cool. And so here's this poem. The Jukebox Anthem and the Discovery of Heterosexuality with Religion. I am gay for the dead I was blamed for. I hear about your new faith and how your body became another vessel for representation. I feel starved from the rearrangement of your conscience. I taste smoke that brought annihilation to our house. Sitting in a motel room on the mattress, imagining a man, a woman, sex, dirty sheets, sweat, real names concealed, a fake orgasm, mouth parted, cocked like a shotgun. And that's that poem. And that poem is based on I had a relationship long ago, and he left me for God. And he said, I can't be with you. I want to get closer with God. And I was like, you're stupid. Um, and then he left me. But the fun part was he became even more gayer once he left me to find God. So I was happy he left me because I'm not into super gay people. And that's no homophobia. It's just my preference. I like men. I don't like men who act like women. So let me tell you, drag queens and that's not the same. And drag queens kill you, so don't fuck with them. And that's all I have, I guess. I think I ran out of time. I don't know. I figured it was 6:30 and we started at 6, so I figured I had 30 minutes.
You did great. It's perfect timing.
Thank
And
you.
I know people were writing down a whole bunch of questions. Regina, I saw
I
you noted something for yourself to come back to for John.
I did. I did. Hold on, let me go back to it because I forgot that quick. That's why I wrote it down because I'm special.
Because I think it was in response to his poem that could be read in several ways. And I think you were asking, do
Oh,
you make up
yes.
some forms,
Right.
if I
Right.
understood correctly?
Yeah, so you were you read a poem and you were talking well before you read the poem you I don't know if it was before or after, but you were talking about uh your lines and I think
Mm.
you said something about six words or something. I can't
Every third
remember.
line. Yeah,
Every
so it's
third
like
line.
line one,
And
line four, line whatever.
right. So did you create that? And if you did, do you like name your, well, I know they call them nonsense. When you create a poetry um scheme or whatever, they call them not nonsense. So do you name your nonsense like Jericho Brown's The Duplex? Do you name
Yeah.
your
I'll be honest, I only ever wrote that one poem like that because it's fucking hard. Um, but and I was like, okay, I did this, the end. But no, I did create a sonnet, and I called it the 7 mirrored sonnet, and it has 7 syllables per each line, and it's like A B C D E, and then it mirrors, so it's E, then whatever the rhyme scheme is if you flipped it, and I wrote some poems like that, and it's real fun and real crazy.
Mhm.
But no, I didn't name this one. I didn't think anything of it. Like I wrote it and it took forever. And look, I'm bald because of it now. I'm just joking. But yeah, but it was fun and if people like it and roll with it, they can give it a name if they want to and stuff. But yeah, I was just impressed with myself that I was able to write a poem and then have the 3 lines that went like together and apart and 3 different things. I think I wanted to do something like hard. Sometimes I feel like doing stuff I haven't never done before to see if I can do it. Because I have a lot of form poems that I write, but most of them don't see the light of day because they're horrible. But sometimes you just gotta get it out of your system. And
Right.
not that they're if they to me they're not good enough to showcase because I have a lot of poems that never see the light of day. There, that saying, the redheaded. I know this funny. The redheaded stepchild who they shove in the basement. They're my redheaded stepchildren. Um, and also you were talking about how I write a lot and stuff. The secret is I don't have a life. I don't leave my house. I write 24/7. And when I'm not writing, I'm editing. That's the secret to writing a lot. Just don't do anything else with your life. Just write.
Yeah. I think Karen had even written something about like, what a hard working poet you are. There was another question in the chat section and I'm not finding it. So if you had a question, go ahead and say it out loud. I was trying to look back. I saw Regina's about forms, and it seems like there was another one. Also, I'm not so sure hate poems to the person you love might be its own kind of category of poems that save lives.
I wrote like 10 of them, and they're in the book. Sorry, I had to like lower my voice to get that out. But
Sometimes you
yeah,
do.
so a fun book.
Did somebody have a question that I missed? I'm gonna find it. I think there was something I'm responding to that was in the chat section that was talking about some of the ways. Yeah, it ought to be a hate poems to the person you love would be a great book title. There's your next chapbook, courtesy of Sandra. But somebody was talking about like the way you see things and how your descriptions are so unique. Like even familiar things seem slightly askance in your work, and I really enjoy that. I enjoy the unique kind of vision. Was it you,
Thank
Cindy,
you.
that had written something about that? You're welcome. Everybody's jealous about the petting kangaroos, though. So am I. I want to come to Kentucky just for. I didn't know there was a Kentucky Down Under. I had to look it up, which I know is morally wrong while I'm hosting a poetry
That's
thing. But I was like,
okay.
wait.
That's okay. Look it up. But the kangaroos, though, they're like taken care of real nicely. They have lovely shelters and everything. So if they was like a bad place, if they didn't take good care of their animals, I wouldn't do it. And they close down like 6 months out of the year because it gets too cold. So
It looks amazing, just by the way. It
yeah.
looks
So
amazing. It's a great
it's
way.
not a. I mean, it's kangaroos and a fence, but the fence is huge. And they do treat them well and stuff. So they're spoiled like my
Yes,
mind.
I'm
They
glad that
friendly?
you're going there.
Are kangaroos dangerous or friendly? I mean,
Oh,
I
they're probably very dangerous. I've seen some videos of them in the wild. They'll kick your head off. But these,
yeah,
I'm pretty
that's
sure
what I
they was
thought.
born and raised there. So they like people.
Yeah,
Watch
I
me
think
go
that
and
it
get
has
my
to do
head
with like
kicked
how.
off.
Okay,
Oh,
so this is what Sandra wrote. Your work is very sentient. There isn't a topic that you can't tackle and craft into a beautiful poem. And that kind of dovetails with what I was thinking. A rosary bead in every wound. It's so visceral and so exact of an image. And yet it's also beautiful and striking. And I think that ties into kind of your ability to capture a poem, like the one poem that you wrote for your trans friend who nobody would publish. I thought that that was a very important poem, and I think it's sad
mhm.
that it didn't find a home other than your book. I'm glad it had you and your book, but I
Yeah.
think that sometimes certain work. Oh, Cindy wrote, John Compton is God. By the way, that's in there. I just want you to
And I'm the
be prepared
goddess.
when I send you the chat section.
Yeah, send
Yes.
it to me. I just want
But
to
I think that that's
apologize.
incredible.
I just want to say sorry I'm not reading through right now because it's going to go to open mic, and I've tried to read the comments before, and then I missed the whole open mic. So I will send everyone personal DMs if y'all want me to after I read a thank you and stuff. But thank you for all your comments. I'm definitely going to read them. I'm excited to read them. So thank you.
I'll send them to you, John. And you don't, you can respond to people, but no, that's our response to you. You don't need to write thank you letters or nothing.
There's a piece of me that feels like I neglect people if I don't say thank you. And that's one thing too. If you go through all my posts, every comment, I will say, and I never copy and paste or auto. I always write out thank you with emojis, every one of them. I never leave anyone behind. And so, let me tell you, the birthday ones are the most difficult. That takes like 3 days by itself.
I think people feel that though, that need to, connect and see people.
Yes, because I love
That's
people, and
beautiful.
I always think, these people love what I do. At least I can do is say thank you to them. I mean, that's not a lot out of your time, like appreciate it. Because without the people reading your, like enjoying the reading, without your fans per se, you ain't got nothing. You're just writing in the wind. I mean, if no one read my stuff, I'd still write. But like the people who read your stuff and buy your books and all that stuff, they're very important.
Chrissy just wrote, "I love people after coffee." Chrissy, that was funny. And Sandra wrote, "I love your multi-genre laugh." Yeah, that's awesome. I think
I
we'll
love.
move.
Oh yeah, I'll shut up now.
No, you're fine. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say I love people on Zoom because I'm not with them. I'm an awkward person in real life. I'm not sociable at all. You put me in a room with you and like the first 3 minutes, well, poets are different because I'm a poet and we're
I
all
was just
fucking
going to say,
weird.
really, John? Because
Oh,
I know you and I have been on Zooms and we have talked like 2 hours by accident.
oh, like I said, poets are different. But like, get me like in a room with normal people.
Yeah.
I'm
You
leaving.
always pop up on my, you always thumbs up my posts. I always see your name.
Aw, yeah.
Thumbs up.
I
And
do
then
my
I go
best.
to your page and see what interesting stuff you've got going on. Because
The
you
same
always do.
thing. Same thing, different
Yeah.
day.
You are going to have to post some pictures of you and Josh with kangaroos. I'm sorry, that's kind of going to have to
Oh
be a
yeah,
thing.
most definitely.
Good. Well, thank you so much, John. That was
And
amazing.
thank you for letting me be here and letting me read. And thank you everyone for showing up and listening to my poems and my talking.
Yeah, I think we enjoy that as much as we enjoy the poems too. We'll move towards open mic. Nick, you are first.
Do I have time for one poem or two?
Let's try one to start with and then see if we can go back through.
Okay. I'd like to first congratulate John on a wonderful reading, and he knows how much I respect his work. Secondly, I'd like to thank Malika for giving us the opportunity to read. And thirdly, I'd like to say that last night I went to a poetry reading and I knew everybody in the room and I knew everyone in the room's work except one person. That was Brandon. And I was so blown away by his stuff and his reading that it inspired me to come home and write 2 pieces myself.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. The logistics of yearning. If wishing could bring about spring. Wait a minute, let me start over. That isn't what I want to read at all. Beneath the crashing sky, ferocious wind, so powerful it threatened to rip the house from its foundation, shook windows, roared like a celestial engine. Late afternoon darkened, and Floyd pulled the chain on the student lamp. Warm light from the green glass shade spread across his general psychology book that lay open on the cherry wood desk. Although he found himself engrossed in the chapter on Abraham Maslow, he felt stiff, needed to stand, to take a break. As if on cue, Roland's arms wrapped around Floyd's chest. Floyd leaned back into the embrace, placed his hands atop Roland's. They remained like that for a minute before Floyd reached over and turned off the lamp. Minimum skylight filled the room with shadows. Silence ensued, as if they both had agreed not to speak. Floyd turned to face Roland. Their kiss was intense and deep. The storm did not slacken, but escalated, its strength bringing down a limb from the dogwood tree, the branch slamming against the study window. With a midterm test looming tomorrow, Floyd, halfway through his sophomore year at The Ohio State University, reminded Roland of the need to resume boning up for tomorrow's exam. The final kiss bespoke a promise of carnal fulfillment later. Floyd bent over his desk as Roland strode down the hallway to wait in another part of the house, proud of his son's commitment to education.
Wow, Nick. Oh gosh. The line that just struck me so hard, and I'm still kind of stuck on it, as if they'd both agreed not to speak. Yeah. Make sure you look in the chat section for comments. Karen, I have you next.
Okie doke. This poem's a week old. This is a Meineke poem. Apparently, I spend a lot of my life sitting in the waiting room at Meineke. But this was actually written in response to reading Dick Westheimer's poem in the latest Radlick Frastic Challenge chapbook that came with the newest issue. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Anyway, so this poem's in response to his poem and the artwork that he wrote in response to write the poem that he wrote. So this, if y'all get rattled, this chapbook that came with the recent issue is so cool. It's got great poems in it, and it's got these little code things that you can scan, and then you can see the artwork that the poet wrote in response to. Anyway, totally cool. That has nothing to do with my poem. This is Beyond Astro and Border. There is always a rainbow of some sort looming, not too far away, maybe with its full-on spectrum curved like a frown, or like one of those childhood storybook renderings of color breaking out of the blue of a sky dispersing any nearby clouds. Maybe today's rainbow is just a discarded scrap of itself showing up in a dirty puddle in the asphalt in the blink of your eye when you're only just trying to pump enough gas to get where you're trying to be before it gets too much later than it already is. Either way, every way, a rainbow is not a bridge your physical body can travel, and it has no physical pot of gold. But it is a band of colors playing music for your eyes, maybe causing your figurative heart to skip a beat, go pity-pat, expand, sing a bit of its own metaphorical song as your you just tags merrily, merrily, merrily along. There's that.
Thank you. There's that poem. Thank you,
There's that poem.
Karen. It's Cindy wrote, wow, Karen, I love your work and the way you present it. Yeah, such authenticity and passion and joy. I think I enjoy listening in on the speakers' voices and how things yeah, it's delightful. Look at the chat section, Karen. Chrissy, you're up next.
Okay, so John, I tried to pick a poem that you haven't heard me read before, and I was definitely drinking tequila when I wrote this poem. So this is called All That I Know of Tree Sex and Panties Was Unearthed at Another Poet's Reading. A repetitive murmuring deems me dreamwalker. I run wild out of her wall of words, claiming my own silence, knowing that in this state of being, I can own the plumed curves of my shoeless feet, keeping time with the soft chuff of my gait. When I wake, I am covered in tree sex, naked except for the red lace panties I stole from Persephone, after she pilfered even the dregs of my pantalones blanco, leaving me with only the limes I plucked from a fevered tree. I sit sucking their tang, textured juice runs down my chin, wondering if it will swim the spill of silvered moonlight, finding its way to the tender bowl of my navel. What flora will I bloom in this pulse? Thank you.
Awesome, Chrissy. I run wild out of her wall of birds. Awesome. Regina, I have you next.
I was getting ready to write in Spanish, no less. Pantalones blancos.
McConaughey's got good tequila.
Huh?
McConaughey's got good tequila.
Right. Yeah, I know. Great poem. It was a great poem.
Thank
I was
you.
trying to say. So this poem is actually in deference recognition to Juneteenth, which is tomorrow. Juneteenth, of course, is the day that the enslaved people of Texas got the word that freedom had arrived. It begins with a bit of an epigraph to provide context. The title, Bissop, Red Drink, Hibiscus, Sobolo, Sorrel. Red drinks have long lubricated the social gatherings of West Africans and people of African heritage in the Americas, particularly those celebrating emancipation. And that's from Adrian Miller. And she thought, it isn't meant for those hands and hearts of this graceland to be lost, to be scattered, to be captured and spattered across the inglorious terrain, having once rooted and grown wildly, oft living abundantly and freely across the most ancient holy ground. And Bissop saw them, snatched, and she cried, chanted, and prayed that they would remember her flowering and offering. They would not be completely overtaken by their sorrowing. They would retain the memory of her blood edifying elixir that celebrated the cherished moments in their humanity. And Bissop, once extending hospitality, once encouraging bonds of unity, once toasting victories, now witnessed her cultivators huddled, chained in coffers, trafficked across an angry sea. And what are they to do when their royal skins from noble lands are whitewashed black with souls hung blue? Yet as if from earth to wave, dodging death and graves, Bissop whispered codes through seas, ground and air, made herself known as more than root and leaves. She was a blood-red reminder that carried history and ways, liberty. And those hands and hearts of grace recognized even through bleary eyes and hot terrain that the sacred red drink of the loving cup still remain, an innocuous reappearing, same face, different name, reflecting hope, calling home.
Phew, Regina. Holy cow. You've redone that poem because I remember hearing it in earlier versions. It is so fabulous.
Thank you. And
Well
Bissop is
done.
something that they
I
drink.
deeply admire. Yeah. Yeah, gorgeous. Cindy, I have you next. Yeah.
Oh, well, Sunday is Father's Day, and my fantastic father died when I was only 19 under tragic circumstances. He was an attorney, politician, brilliant man, and a decent man, and a great father. And I miss him every day, even though this is, I'm 68. I was 19. So, but here's it's an old poem I wrote for him. It was published in Muddy River Poetry Review. It was V. Cecily. My Father in a Nutshell. And I actually have two poems for him, but they're very, very short. My Father in a Nutshell. My father loved weak tea, burnt toast, strawberries and cream, cherry tomatoes, tanning his face in the sun on the corner. That's true. He used to stand there on the corner. And justice. And that's the important part because he you know, he marched for civil rights. He was a civil rights attorney, and he once represented Harry Belafonte when Belafonte was singing in a hotel but could not get a room there because of his race. And my father represented him, and he got that room. I have another very short one for my dad. It's called Epitaph. You created me. You swaddled me in solitude, gave me your aquiline nose, a caravan of fears, and a bandage round my stained glassed heart. You are my Jack in the Box Joker, my midnight minstrel maestro. But then you died on a crucifix of question marks.
Oh, Cindy, beautiful tributes, but hard poems. Yes. And a caravan of fears. Obviously, several of us resonated with that. Yeah. I do like the weak tea, burnt toast, and justice.
He
Laura.
liked weak tea.
Yeah, that struck me right when you said weak tea and then burnt toast. I was like, oh, very succinct. Laura, I have you next. And Brandon, I didn't ask you if you want to read. If you do want to read, just let me know after Laura.
Okay, this is called Killing the Past. Divorce your forever best friend and burn all the books he left behind, the weighty history tomes, crumbling sci-fi paperbacks. I can say this. Fuck Philip K. Dick and his replicants. In the beige atmosphere of grief, you take a mallet to the living cell until everything collapses. Beads of sweat roll down your body, fill your bra. The chimney collapses, caves in on itself, ruined. Sapped of rage, you pace the porch. Remember then how your brother decapitated your Barbies, his G.I. Joe swinging vacuicide blondes by their hair, victorious. The nuns only had him for 2 years, but forged him with the sharp slap of ruler on palm for squirming in his chair, shamed my sister, placed her in a corner for being late, when it was all Claire McNally's fault. Come then, full circle to yourself, to the small room, a white-walled cell, but no bloody cross above the bed. Thank you.
Damn, Laura.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Everybody's on fire tonight. Awesome. Okay. Would you like to read, Brandon?
Sure. Thank you. Awesome. And thanks everybody for reading, and what you've read has been wonderful. And John, you're awesome. You know that. So thanks, man. I've been getting into the habit of reading more unpublished poems lately, because for the longest time I just read all my published ones. So we're going to go with this one. It's called Love Poem for the Universe. You recycled my stardust for millennia, like laundry, energy flowing unknowingly like electricity through a filament. Our epiphytic symbiosis is the only orchid of its kind, hitching a ride on the great tree of life, unfurling petals of our poetry every now and again. Chaos theory tosses bad days into our right now plans, like gusts of wind through the webs of spiders, continuously reconnecting disturbed vertices until the next desired meal happens along. Those are the sweet nothings you whisper when the world paints itself larger or smaller than just enough, that you've always held steadfast faith in change, while the intonations of your voice heralded our poem across eons of cosmos, tidal waves of ripples. God nods his head silently, like yesterday's sunset. There's beauty in the simplest of remembrances, and I'll miss you when you're gone.
That is gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Brandon. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you read that poem. And I saved Bob for last.
Okay. I'm going to read a poem that's in a new chapbook coming out next month of all very short poems. So this is from that. About. They want poems that are about. This is about that.
Can't wait till that whole book comes out. And you're going to come on here,
like
aren't you?
John's poem. That's like John's line. You know, that's the poem. That's the poem.
And that's that poem.
This is like the compliment to that.
Thanks, folks.
Bob.
Thank y'all so very much. Great company tonight. Yeah. And Laura asked, can we pre-order your book, Bob? If there is a way to do that, if you could put it into the chat section. And I'm also putting the link to John's work again. Oh, I did try to really mess him up because I found John S. Compton and before we started all this, and I put it in there and it wasn't the right John Compton.
And
a science writer. But see, I think that's John Compton's side gig, and he's just like playing it cool.
It's my secret. And I just want to say the reason I was off camera, I was still listening, but so one side of my mouse cage, I ran out of little wire and it only has bigger wire, but they can fit through it. And they've concocted where they've pulled the wire out a little bit and there's a plywood. And one of them got between the wire and the plywood, so I had to take the wood off and get the mouse and put him back in. So I was listening. Sorry, Christy, that I wasn't able to be like, when you were talking. But I had to save my little mouse because he was dumb. So now I got to get a stable gun and stable the wire to the plywood so they can't get between it.
They are escape. Yes. Oh, gosh. Sandra, I don't think anything's been written that is more true about John. You will never be boring. So good. Bob, we do need to circle back. Is there a way to pre-order your book? And if so, do you mind putting it?
Well, I'm typing in some info about it now, but you can't really pre-order it because the publisher has been away visiting Newfoundland. So once he comes back, nothing is going to be done with it. So, but I'm putting the name of the book and the publisher in the chat.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bob.
Sure. Thank you.
I'll give everybody a second to glance back through the chat section. Yeah, it is such a great group, Cindy. I agree. Yeah. Thank y'all very much. I'm trying to find it, Bob, so people have a chance to. Yep, there you go. With words and published by Foothills Publishing in July. And of course, we will get Bob here to celebrate as well. All right, guys, be well.
Congrats,
Oh, I'm
Bob.
not buying it. Nah.